The Boeing 747, often called the Queen of the Skies, is one of the most iconic aircraft in aviation history. For decades, it has been a symbol of engineering marvel, luxury, and reliability. But even the most trusted machines can face catastrophic failure, and one such incident still sends shivers through the aviation world. This is the story of a Boeing 747 that broke apart just after takeoff, falling from the skies and leaving behind a trail of devastation. It's a reminder of the delicate balance that keeps a 400-ton aircraft airborne and the tragic consequences when that balance is lost. Our story begins on January 3, 2001, at Taipei's Chiang Kai-shek International Airport in Taiwan. Singapore Airlines Flight 006 had landed just hours earlier, its passengers disembarking after a long journey. A new crew took over, preparing the aircraft for its next flight, destined for Anchorage, Alaska, before continuing to its final destination in Los Angeles. The Boeing 747-400 was a modern version of the classic jumbo jet, equipped with advanced technology and a reputation for safety. It had transported millions of passengers across the globe and was considered a workhorse of the skies. As night fell over the bustling airport, weather conditions took a turn for the worse. A powerful typhoon was approaching the region, bringing heavy rain and strong winds. Despite the challenging conditions, the decision was made to proceed with the flight. Inside the cockpit, the experienced crew was busy with pre-flight procedures. The captain, first officer, and flight engineer were seasoned professionals, having logged thousands of hours in the air. But even their expertise couldn't prevent what was about to unfold. At 11:18 p.m., the 747 began taxiing toward the runway. The rain intensified, and visibility dropped to near zero. The pilots relied on their instruments and ground control to guide them. But amidst the chaos, a critical error occurred. The flight was instructed to use runway 05L for takeoff, but due to poor visibility and a lack of clear markings, the pilots mistakenly lined up on runway 05R. What they didn't realize was that 05R was closed for maintenance. Construction equipment, including excavators and concrete barriers, littered the runway. Unaware of the mistake, the pilots pushed the throttles forward, and the four massive engines roared to life. The plane began accelerating, its tires kicking up a spray of water as it gained speed. Inside the cabin, passengers braced themselves for the takeoff. Some clutched their armrests, while others closed their eyes, hoping for a smooth ascent. But what happened next was anything but routine. As the plane raced down the runway, its landing gear struck construction equipment. The impact caused the aircraft to veer off course, and within seconds, disaster struck. The fuselage broke apart, and the massive jet burst into flames. Passengers and crew were thrown into chaos as fire and smoke engulfed the cabin. Screams filled the air as those on board scrambled to escape the inferno. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, battling flames and pulling survivors from the wreckage. But the devastation was overwhelming. Of the 179 people on board, 83 lost their lives. Many of the survivors suffered severe injuries, including burns and fractures. In the aftermath, investigators worked tirelessly to determine what went wrong. The evidence painted a chilling picture of how a series of small errors and miscommunications led to the tragedy. The misalignment with the wrong runway was the initial mistake, but several factors compounded the situation. Poor weather conditions, inadequate lighting, and unclear signage all contributed to the confusion. Additionally, the tower's failure to recognize the aircraft's position and the lack of a ground radar system to monitor taxiing planes highlighted systemic weaknesses. The investigation also revealed issues with the crew's situational awareness. Despite their experience, the challenging conditions and high workload in the cockpit made it difficult to catch the error before it was too late. The tragedy of Flight 006 led to significant changes in aviation safety. Airports around the world implemented stricter guidelines for runway markings, lighting, and ground radar systems. Pilots received enhanced training on situational awareness and navigating in low-visibility conditions. But for the families of those lost, these changes came too late. The pain of losing loved ones in such a preventable tragedy was immeasurable. Their lives were forever changed by a night that started as an ordinary flight but ended in unimaginable loss. The legacy of this incident is a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance in aviation. It underscores the need for constant improvement in safety protocols, technology, and training to prevent such tragedies from happening again. Today, the Boeing 747 continues to soar through the skies, its legacy untarnished by the rare but catastrophic failures in its history. But for those who remember Flight 006, the story of a plane that broke apart in midair serves as a somber reminder of how quickly things can go wrong. In aviation, as in life, every detail matters. A single misstep can have far-reaching consequences, turning a routine journey into a nightmare. And while the skies remain among the safest places to travel, the lessons of Flight 006 remind us never to take that safety for granted. Let us honor the memory of those who lost their lives that fateful night and strive to ensure that such a tragedy is never repeated. For in the end, every flight is not just a journey. It's a responsibility to safeguard the lives of all who step aboard.